Unmute me.
Marie, something happened.
Sorry, I muted myself instead of all of you. We'll start all again. We'll start over again. Settling into the support beneath you. Allowing the body to become heavy into that support. Feeling safe, secure, and supported as you rest into the earth. Following the breath from the start of the inhale to the end of the exhale. Just bringing your focus let's see. Bringing your focus to the breath from the tip of your nose, following the breath as it leaves out through the tip of your nose. Breathing in, breathing out. Coming to your practice, and then setting your intention for your practice. What brought you here today? What is your hope for your mind, your body, your spirit? Shortening that to a word or a phrase and placing it in an I am statement. Repeating that softly to yourself a few times as if it were true and already happening. Gently allowing the focus to come back to your breath. Just watching your natural rhythm. Not changing anything. Maybe noticing where the breath settles, where your inhales settle. Does it feel stuck? Does it feel full? Not judging it, but just noticing. And can you allow it to move just a little deeper? Can you allow the muscles between the ribs to expand? The entire thoracic body accepts the breath. Making the inhales and the exhales the same length. And noticing the pause after the exhale. Resting there for a beat. Before the natural inhale. Three more rounds of breath like this. Resting in the stillness of the exhale. And with your next inhale, allow the arms to float out, around, and up, extending towards the ceiling. Feeling that stretch. If you're sitting, I suggest you maybe lie down at this point so that we can all be lying down flat on the floor. Yeah, extending the legs straight out in front of you. If that feels okay, reaching into the heels as you extend into the length of the arms. Don't worry about if I can see you, just you mostly need to be able to listen to me and just connect my cues into your body without, and if it doesn't connect, don't worry about it. Find an easy place to rest in so the breath can move freely. So now we're extending through the fingertips. We're reaching into the heels. And with your next exhale, float the hands to either side of the hips. Inhale there and exhale, draw one knee and then the other in towards the chest, maybe rocking from side to side, gently, slowly, with intention, and just noticing or starting to notice what you've brought to your practice. What's going on in the back body, in your shoulders, in your jaw? How's the breath? Without judging it, just kind of taking stock. And then finding stillness there, allowing the feet to float to the earth with bent knees. Walking the feet the width of the mat. And with the exhale, allow both knees to float over to the left. Inhale, let them float to center. Exhale, over to the right. Moving slowly, mindfully with your breath, just linking simple movement with breath. Notice what you feel in the back body, the hips, maybe your outer thighs, maybe your knees, and back out of anything that doesn't feel good. Not forcing the knees towards the earth, just allowing gravity to draw them up and over and settle. Again, finding a pause in the exhale, resting in that stillness for a beat, and then moving with the next breath. Allowing the hips to gently lift as you start to twist open in the lower back. In whatever way feels natural for you. Maybe one side feels a little different than the other, but the constant is the breath. The breath continues to flow in and out. Knowing that you always have the option to come to stillness and back out of a pose throughout the practice, if the breath stops to flow easily. So finding stillness here, with the knees up to the ceiling and walking the feet to about hips distance. And with your exhale, drawing just the right knee in for a hug. So the thigh draws to the belly, maybe the hands clasp, fingers interlaced in back of the thigh. Even if you can reach over the shin, maybe consider the back of the thigh so that you can soften the shoulders to the earth. And let go of all efforting. And find the ease in this pose. Just resting in the stillness for a few rounds of breath and noticing the subtle movement. So we say we're still, but there's still subtle movement of the breath and its echo into the body. With your next exhale, the belly gently gathers and releasing that bind. Inhaling, the leg extends straight up to the ceiling. As you root and find a heaviness and a grounding in the right hip, you can reach the heel to extend that leg out of the hip socket, letting go of all the efforting. There's a slight bend to the back of the knee. And then make some circles through the ankle, as if you had a crayon on that big toe. Slow it down, as if you were moving in honey. Slow, mindful with intention, and then reversing those circles. And finding some stillness there. And with your inhale, the toes fan away from each other. And with your exhale, the toes curl in. Inhaling, fanning open. Exhale, gentle fist of the feet. Notice what you notice. And then let it go. Point and flex. Reach into the heel. Reach into the toes. Familiar movements. So find the breath. And find the connection to the movements and come to stillness as you reach into the toe joints in that Barbie doll foot in between flex and point. Exhale, hug the pit of the belly to the earth. The sacrum is your root, your foundation as it rests flat on the floor. And make some circles of that leg in the hip socket, about basketball size circles, as we start to warm up with the core. So the core muscles, the muscles that wrap around the ribs, that hug the belly to the earth, keep us in relative stillness, and we can isolate the movement to the hips, the leg in the hip socket, and reverse those circles. Notice what you notice. And then find stillness there. Flex your foot and cross the ankle over the thigh. So let the foot comes to the outside of the left thigh and the ankle rests on the muscle. Offering that right knee to move away from you as you maybe move a little deeper into the hip. How does that feel? Keeping that right foot flexed. Maybe you're staying right here. Maybe there's some space for you to walk that left heel a little closer to the left sitting bone. Keep offering that right knee to move away from you, gentle offering. Breathe into the right hip, knowing that the breath does not move into the right hip. But we use the breath and the awareness to soften. And maybe you're staying right here. Maybe you're backing out and walking that left foot away from you. It felt better the other way. Maybe with your next exhale, both knees are moving over to the left. With your inhale, you're floating back to a neutral, resting equally on both hips. Exhaling, keep offering that right knee to move away from you, to go deeper into that right hip, the right side body. Maybe you even feel it in the lower back. And inhale up to center. And make sure that sensation, whatever you want to call it, that you feel is a warm sensation. Not forcing your body into a shape you're not ready for. Yoga should never hurt or feel bad or painful. With your next inhale, coming to stillness, exhale, gather the belly, and inhale, extend that right leg straight up to the ceiling. Bend the knee, float that foot to the earth, slide it out in front of you, and let the left leg come to meet it. And come back to the breath. Smooth it out. And see if you can offer the breath to move into the back of the heart. To allow the body to expand into the earth beneath you, to open, to fill with energy and life. And with the exhale, let go of anything that doesn't suit you. Deep breath in, soft, releasing breath out. With your next exhale, one foot and then the other steps back onto the earth with bent knees. Inhale there and exhale, the left knee draws into the chest, maybe interlacing the fingers in back of the thigh. As you soften the shoulders away from the ears and let them rest flat on the earth beneath you. resting in this stillness, aware of the subtle movement the breath creates as it echoes through the body. Maybe you even notice with the inhale that the body expands and that thigh gently moves away from you a little. And with the exhale, it draws a little closer. Maybe already this side feels a little different than the other. We're not symmetrical. We use the breath to soften into the tight places. With your next exhale, release the bind, ground, root the hips to the earth, and inhale, extend the left leg straight up to the ceiling. Reaching into the heel without efforting into the back of the knee, keeping weight in that left hip, and the breath is smooth and making some circles through the ankle. Slow, mindful circles. And then reversing those circles. And then finding stillness there and fanning the toes away from each other and curling them in. Inhaling, opening, exhaling, curling them in. And then finding stillness and flex and point. And then settling into that Barbie doll foot, reaching into the toe joints as you sort of fan the toes out a little without effort. Ground yourself by exhaling and drawing the belly gently in and up, the front ribs towards the earth, keeping that natural curve in the lower back. Keep the breath smooth and starting to make some basketball-sized circles as that leg rotates in the hip socket. Slow, mindful, with intention. Backing out of anything that doesn't feel good. I'm reversing those circles. Maybe noticing the habits of the body to always start in one direction. As we start to notice the habits of the body, we notice the habits of the mind. And with all this awareness comes change and finding stillness there. And with your exhale, bend the knee, float that foot to the earth. Extend it straight out onto the floor in front of you. Let the right leg come to meet it. Oh, I forgot to do our other thing. So bring that right foot back to the floor with a bent knee. I knew I was missing something. Let the left ankle cross over the right thigh. The foot comes just to the outside of the right thigh so that the ankle is resting on the flesh of the thigh. The foot stays flexed and you take a few rounds of breath here and notice what you notice in the left thigh, the left hip. Find the breath, soften. Maybe you're staying right here and this is enough right now. Maybe you have space to walk the right heel a little closer to the sitting bone. Offering that left knee to move away from you. And with your next exhale, maybe both knees float over to the right. And with your inhale, coming back to a neutral spine, moving slowly and mindfully. Finding your edge and not forcing yourself any deeper. Offering the left knee to stay working away from you. Keeping the left foot flexed to protect the knee. Using the breath to guide you. Allowing for a lengthening through the left side body, into the lower back and the hips and the thigh, keeping the shoulders resting on the earth. And the next time you inhale up, find stillness. Inhale, the leg extends straight up to the ceiling. And bend the knee and float that foot to the earth and let the right leg slide out to meet it. And find the breath again. Filling the front and back of the heart space with the breath. Allowing the ribs to open, the lungs to fill. Deep breath in, soft breath out. And with your inhale, the right arm extends alongside your ear. And maybe both shoulders float over to the left. And you feel a nice extension through the right side body. And maybe you have space to walk both legs over to the left, keeping the hips and the back resting on the earth, as if you were standing in a crescent shape. Then the breath moves easily into this opening that you've allowed. And you notice, you're aware of the lungs filling on the right side body and the ribs opening to accept the breath as the muscles expand. Maybe you feel the breath all the way into your armpit. Maybe all the way down into your lower back. With your next inhale, walking back to neutral, legs and shoulders, and that right arm floats down to your side. Inhaling the left arm alongside your ear, softening the arm in the shoulder socket, and then shuffling the shoulders over to the right a little maybe. Find an easy place for that arm to rest on the earth and allow the breath to move into the left side body. And maybe you have space to walk both legs over to the right. And then you're breathing into the opening on the left side body, from the ankle to the fingertips. And as you move into and out of these poses, take your time, don't be in a rush. Many of you have been practicing for years and the body has a memory of where we're going. If you slow it down, you become aware of the subtle stuff between one pose and the other. Aware of the breath. Aware of the thoughts maybe running away or trying to draw you away. With your next inhale, the shoulders come back to center, to neutral, the legs come back, and we float that left arm down. Inhale there, and exhale one knee and then the other. Draw in for a hug. And maybe you clasp in back of the knees or over the shins, whatever feels good for you and your shoulders, and maybe you rock from side to side. Giving a gentle massage to the lower back, the entire back body. Notice what you notice. And then allowing those feet to root to the earth with bent knees. The shoulders slide away from the ears and down the back. And then they snuggle a little closer together underneath the heart. The arms are extended on either side of the hips, palms face down. And the feet are rooted to the earth, hips distant, so about the length of a dollar bill between your feet, with the knees facing the ceiling. Find the breath. And with your exhale, the belly button gathers and draws towards the earth, and you feel a gentle opening in the lower back as it moves towards the earth, and that opening closes a little. With your inhale, the hip points rock towards the knees, and that gentle curve in the lower back maybe becomes a little deeper. Just noticing as you rock on the pelvis, on the sacrum, forward and back. Allowing the back body to start to open and lengthen with that exhale. And the front body to start to open with the inhale, maybe even aware of the heart puffing up. And when you're ready, maybe you're activating those feet and activating the legs. And with your inhale, you're lifting the hips straight up. And exhale, softening them down. Maybe only an inch or two, and that's what you're comfortable with now. As you inhale, lift and open and lengthen through the front body, and exhale, control that lowering down. Inhaling, maybe you're able to roll up one vertebra at a time into your bridge pose, resting on the shoulders, ease in the back of the neck. Exhale, slowly rolling down one vertebra at a time to come to rest back on the sacrum. Maybe not forcing the curve out of the lower back when you come to settle down. How does this feel? Can you slow it down? Find maybe a place that you're stuck and soften into that space. Not forcing anything. Being patient, maybe you haven't practiced in a while. Knowing that it takes time and some work to open up the body and let go of whatever our life has brought in the past weeks, months, maybe. And the next time you exhale and the hips settle, find stillness there. And roll over to one side or the other, using your arm as a pillow, allowing the knees to draw up in the direction of your chest. The shoulders are stacked, the hips are stacked, the knees rest on top of each other. And the breath moves into the back of the heart. Allowing the back body to broaden with each inhale. Softening with the exhale. Maybe there's space for the forehead to come a little closer to the knees without closing off the throat, to start to open a little bit more in the back of the neck. Maybe there's space for the knees to draw a little closer to the chest, the thighs a little closer to the belly. Honoring your body, your anatomy, not forcing anything. To allow a curving of the back body without worrying about gravity and the force that it creates in the discs. Moving the breath into that space. And noticing where the thoughts go in this stillness, and honor that. And gently draw them back to the breath and the body right now in this moment. And then using your hands on the floor in front of you, press into the earth and draw yourself up with your core so that you can come over onto your knees into tabletop, taking the time to pad your knees. If you have a blanket nearby or you have to go get one, take the time to do that so that you feel comfortable kneeling. And then once you're on all fours, find your foundation and root into the earth that we know is beneath us. Find that safe, secure, and supported foundation. The pads of the fingers rest on the earth, and joints at the base of the fingers, the heel of the hand. There's a little space in the palm of the hand. The arms are active without locking the elbows. The shoulders slide away from the ears. We're finding the ease in the pose, the support that you need so that you can find the ease, balancing strength and efforting. So that the breath can move freely, knees under hips, length from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. Supporting the back body without taking away that natural curve, so find a softness in the lower back. And with your Inhale, the right leg extends straight and back of you, keeping the shoulders right where they are. The curls turn under so that you can reach and lengthen into the heel from the hip socket. Keeping the thoracic body relatively still, the breath moving freely. And when you're ready, inhaling that leg up towards the ceiling, coming straight out of the hips so that both hips face the earth. So we're not lifting or turning into the lower back, but just warming up the core muscles, the leg muscles. And then maybe inhaling the left arm alongside your ear. Maybe that works for you today. Maybe you're taking that hand back down to the earth and just keeping the right leg extended, and that's where you'll stay. Breathing in, breathing out. If you've raised the left arm, it's soft in the shoulder socket, the thumb to the ceiling. And to go deeper, you gently reach the thumb towards the ceiling. You extend from the fingertips into that right heel. Breath in, breath out, finding the ease in the pose, softness. And with your exhale, that hand floats down and the foot crosses in back of the left knee or left foot, left leg. And you find a stretch and a lengthening through the right side body. So the top of the right foot's on the floor, over to the left, and maybe you choose to gaze over the left shoulder, trying to find those toes. How does this feel as you breathe into the right side body? Inhaling, finding that neutral spine, and the right knee comes back to the floor. Take some hip circles here. So you reach the hips towards the heels, roll them out to the side, maybe a little forward out to the opposite side. 3 circles in one direction and 3 circles in the other. And you're moving slowly, mindfully with the breath. And then coming to stillness in your tabletop again. And connecting back to the foundation so you feel supported, and then you can allow the breath to move freely. And inhaling the left leg straight in back of you, curling the toes under, reaching into the heel. And when you're ready, lifting that leg straight out of the hip, parallel to the earth, both hips still face the earth, and the breath is smooth. And when you're ready, maybe you're experimenting with inhaling that right arm alongside your ear to reach out in front of you, thumb to the ceiling, arm settled soft in the shoulder socket. The jaw is released, breath is smooth, backing out of anything that doesn't feel good. Maybe this side's a little different than the other. We honor that. With your exhale, the right hand comes to the floor and the left foot crosses in back of the right to rest on top of the toes, toenails, top of the foot. Reach, extend, lengthen through the left side body, maybe gazing over the right shoulder. Allow the body to expand, to accept the breath in the left side. Pause in the stillness. Notice what you notice. With your inhale, come back to neutral. Let that knee float to the floor. Walk the big toes together and the knees the width of the mat, and allow the hips to start to reach back in the direction of the heels. Find where you settle. Inhale, lengthen the sternum away from the belly button. Keep that length in the front body as you slowly walk yourself closer to the earth using the breath. Finding your edge and allowing the third eye to make contact with something. The forehead rests on stacked hands, a block, a blanket, the earth. whatever is most easily accessible for you. And then we connect with the breath again and find it in the back body. Using those exhales to soften, to allow the hips to soften, the shoulders, the jaw, the eyes. To try and bring the focus, the attention to the breath. Allowing the thoughts to settle and become a little quieter. Just watching the breath as it moves in and out of the body. With your exhale, the belly gathers. With your inhale, walk yourself up to sit onto your heels momentarily and then come up onto your knees. So standing on your knees with your shins resting on the floor and the tops of the feet open to the floor, and roll through those shoulders. Good morning. Smile, it's just yoga. And roll the shoulders forward a few times. And inhale the shoulders to the ears and exhale, let them drop. And inhale, shoulders to ears and exhale, soften. And let them come up to the ears, slide the shoulder blades together, breathe into that opening for a breath or so across the collarbone. Are. Allow the shoulder blades to slide together. Oh, sorry, that phone call might have come in and interrupted me. So the hands are on the lower back, the fists, the knuckles, the palms, the elbows draw together, the shoulder blades slide together. We haven't gone anywhere yet, just breathing into the opening in the front body. Keeping the hips right where they are, not pressing them forward. With your inhale, lifting the sternum to where the wall meets the ceiling, finding a lengthening through the front body. Can you feel a lengthening of the muscles from the tops of the hip bones to the bottom of the ribs? Maybe, maybe not. Can you breathe into that space in this gentle back bend? Maybe leaning into the upper shoulder blades, or the shoulder blades, the upper back. And the shoulder blades come underneath the heart space, away from the ears, to lift the heart a little higher. The entire rib cage lifts out of the hips and up in the direction of the ceiling. Soften the back of the neck. Maybe the chin comes to the notch in the collarbone. Let go of any efforting in the lower back. Breathe into the front body. And with your next inhale, come back up to a neutral spine. Exhale, lower the hips to the heels. Nice. Inhale the arms into, what is this called? Goddess. Yeah. Cactus arms. Soften the shoulder blades down the back. Nice. With your next inhale, come back up onto the knees. Nice. With your exhale, reach the hip creases back, hinge forward, maybe parallel to the earth, however far you get. Inhale, come back up to hips, shoulders over knees. Nice. Exhale, hip creases reach back, soften the back of the neck, gaze to the floor. Inhale, come back up. Core muscles are bringing you up and down. Breath moves you. And inhale up to center. Just a mini vinyasa. Float those arms down. Roll through the shoulders. Linking movement with breath. Nice. Soften the shoulders down the back. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Support the core with the belly. Now you're on all fours again. We're walking that right hand underneath the heart. Maybe you can think of it as underneath the notch in the collarbone. Nice. Knees are under the hips. With your exhale, the belly gathers. With your inhale, that left arm reaches straight off from the shoulder. Not back, not forward. Straight out in T. An extension of the collarbone. Palms face down. Soften there. Maybe you're staying right here. This is enough for you. With your inhale, lengthen the sternum away from the belly button and float the fingertips towards the ceiling, knowing that it's the core muscles that bring you up. Rooting into that right hand, reaching through the left fingertips, twisting through the back body, but not efforting in that shoulder, right? Knowing that it's the back body that draws you around, the muscles that shine the heart open. Exhale, float that hand down. Walking the left hand to center, whatever that is for you, and root into it. It's a strong foundation so that you can inhale that right arm with support. Gazing to the fingertips on the left hand. Exhale there and inhale. Float the fingertips to the ceiling. The shoulder blade is still soft on the back body. Inhale, lengthening the heart away from the belly button, shining the heart open maybe a little deeper. Honor your body. Find the breath back out of anything that doesn't feel good. Exhale, float it down. And find child pose. Knees can be together if that works for you. Knees can be wide so the belly softens, but move slowly, mindfully with the breath, with intention to settle into the pose, to find that stillness and allow the breath to move freely. Notice what you notice. Scan the body with the breath. Find some place you're gripping or holding and release it with the breath. Soften there. Shoulders, jaw, eyes, hips, back, middle of the back, upper back, side body. Is the breath moving into the side ribs and the back of the heart? Maybe it's not. So we just accept where we are in the moment. Knowing that tomorrow might be different. Right now, right here, just breathing wherever the body allows us. Where do the thoughts go in the stillness? Can you honor them and gently draw the focus back to the breath? Nice. With your next exhale, walk the hands forward so the arms extend, the chest and the head lift a little. We're preparing for downward facing dog. Soften the shoulder blades down the back. The arms are still in their sockets. So we're not efforting here. We start to curl the toes under as we lift the hips and we rest there. As if we could slide the front of the mat away from us, the arms become active, the muscles around the shoulders become active and stabilize us so that we can exhale the pit of the belly, lift the knees and reach the hip creases up and back, moving slowly with the breath, with intention. And then we walk our dog and bicycle it out. Noticing maybe one side's different than the other, maybe noticing this is not sustainable. And we come back down to the knees and work on the shoulders and the arms by walking the arms forward and reaching with the hip creases back and not lengthening into straight legs right now. Finding your practice, what your body needs today, and finding stillness wherever you are, on your knees or extended into a full downward dog. Soft knees, still, knees are bent. That allows for a deeper lengthening through the back body, a softening through the hips and the lower back. Breathing in, breathing out. And exhale, lower the knees. Everyone finds child pose. Just 3 rounds of breath here and we'll come to stand. Knowing that child pose is available to you at any time in the practice, to regroup and find the breath. With your inhale, come back up onto all fours. And we'll step it forward. So exhale, the right knee comes to the chest. And then we help it forward between the hands. We curl the toes under of the left foot and straighten into that heel. We're in a lunge. And exhale, step or slide that foot forward. Inhale into a half forward fold so that the upper body is parallel to the earth. The knees are bent and the hands rest on the top of the thighs. Gazing to the floor. Drawing the shoulder blades to the center of the back, towards the ceiling, so that we have a deep opening across the collarbone. Rooting into the feet, exhale, gather the belly, and inhale, tailbone drops. Head lifts, and we come all the way up to stand, extending, reaching into the fingertips. Soften the arms in the shoulder sockets. We all meet in our extended Tadasana. Feet our hips distance. Arms settle in the shoulder sockets, reaching towards the ceiling or not. Maybe they're wide, maybe they're in cactus. No efforting in the upper shoulders, top of the neck. Rooting into the circumference of the heels. The legs start to become active. The muscles hug to the bone. Without locking the knees, there's a softness, a micro bend to the back of the knees. How does this feel? I'm cueing a lot, aren't I? How does this feel? We want the foundation. We want the extension, the reaching towards the sky, through the crown of the head, the lengthening through the back body. How does that feel for you? With your exhale, float that left arm down. With your inhale, the ribs extend out of the hips as you root into that right foot. Exhale over to the left. And with your inhale, float up to center. Exhale and keeping equal weight in both feet, finding a lengthening through the right side body. Inhale up, move with your breath. Soft shoulders. Not allowing that right shoulder to come forward, so the heart dips, but keeping it open. Nice. The next time you inhale up, find stillness, float that right arm down. Shake it out, roll it out. Maybe we don't raise our arms over our heads too often during the day, right? We lose the strength of those muscles. We're certainly not doing downward dogs. Inhale, the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, soften them. Big inhale. Exhale, soften down the back. Root into your foundation again. Feet or hips distance. Find the circumference of the heels so you have weight on the inside and outside of the heels. You feel safe and supported. And inhale the left arm alongside your ear. Soften the right shoulder. Just hangs there, the whole right arm. Inhaling, the entire thoracic body lengthens out of the hips. Exhale, floating over to the left, any amount. So you feel an opening. Inhale up. Exhale over, slowly with the breath. Where's your edge? Not forcing anything. Keeping weight in the left foot to root down to offer a deeper lengthening through the fingertips. Using the foundation of the left foot to lengthen through the left side body. The next time you inhale up, float that arm down. And roll through those shoulders again. Soften them down the back. Inhale, reach the arms out into T. Exhale, cross the right arm under the left. Give yourself a gentle hug. So the fingertips don't necessarily come to the shoulder blades. Maybe they rest on the forearms, or maybe you're clasping the elbows. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Reach the elbows forward. Feel a gentle opening in the back body as the shoulder blades slide away from each other. And breathe into that space. Keeping length through the spine, reaching through the crown of the head. And with your next inhale, the fingertips extend, the arms open, and now the left arm goes under the right. We soften there, shoulders away from the ears. And we reach the elbows away from you to broaden and open across that back body. And then the breath moves into that space, and we're aware of the ribs expanding as the breath moves into it. And with your inhale, the arms open out. And with your exhale, they float down. Finding the foundation, reconnecting over and over again, the same thing. Familiar with this practice, feeling safe. And we can connect with the breath. And inhale, the arms float out, around, and up. And with your exhale, maybe you swan dive down. Soften the back of the neck, inhaling there, knees are bent, hands rest on the upper thighs. With your exhale, maybe you hinge a little closer to the earth. That can be a centimeter of hinging, maybe not. Root into the feet. With your inhale, float all the way up to stand, extending gently through the fingertips. Exhale, float it to the heart center. Inhaling, maybe thinking of scooping up the energy around you, the hands cup, they come together. And then we exhale and float forward. Inhale, finding length. Exhale, floating a little closer to the earth. Maybe inhaling, lengthening the sternum away from the belly button, softening the shoulders away from the ears. With your next exhale, maybe you straighten into the belly of the thighs, the back of the thighs, just a little. And we take a few rounds of breath in stillness in this half forward fold. Soften where you're efforting. Allow the breath to move freely. And breathe into the sensation in the belly of the thighs. The belly is still, the pit of the belly still hugs in and up. And the breath moves freely. Soften the back of the neck. With your next exhale, we reach into the feet. And inhale, hinge up. And exhale, bring it to the heart center. Let the thumbs, palms together, the thumbs rest against the upper chest. Maybe softly closing your eyes or finding something to gaze at. And connect with the breath again. Aware of the foundation of the soles of the feet resting on the earth. Of the body lengthening up through the crown of the head. aware of the breath moving freely, letting go of the efforting with the exhales. Feeling strong and gentle in your mountain pose. Finding the balance of the breath in the body. Aware of the thoughts as they tug at you in the stillness, honoring them and allowing them to float away just for now. Trying to bring some peace into this moment, some balance into this moment. Aware of any negative sensation in the body and softening it with the exhale. Softly blinking open the eyes, allowing the hands to float to the hips. Allowing the weight to shift into the right leg, coming onto the toes of the left as you bend that knee, just right there next to the right. Root into that standing leg so the muscles become active and hug to the bone without locking out that knee. The right hip subtly draws in, there's a subtleness to that, and you can lengthen and grow longer through the crown of the head. Don't worry if you don't connect to these cues. Find the breath. Knowing that you're strengthening that standing leg, finding a smooth and even breath, literally finding balance. And with your next exhale, you step or slide that left foot back so that the heel rests on the earth, the foot flat on the floor. The right leg is still straight. The shoulders are over the hips. So you're still lengthening straight up through the crown of the head. And maybe already you notice an opening in the front of that left hip crease down into the quadricep. And you soften there as you root into the heel, the quadricep muscles gather and reach that left leg back and down. Gently, not efforting. Keep that foundation of that back leg. And with your exhale, the hips settle straight down as you bend into that right knee. Any amount, warrior one. Do you feel safe here? Maybe you need to walk that right foot out a little bit for a wider foundation if you're wobbling too much. Soften through the shoulders. Inhale the arms back into goddess arms. Soften through the jaw and the back of the neck. With your exhale, the palms float together to the heart center. Rooting into the right foot, rooting into the left foot. Inhale, lengthening up out of the hips, lifting through the crown of the head. Exhale, gentle twists to the right. This is a closed twist, it's a small twist. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, gentle twist to the right. Keeping your thumbs resting on your heart or your upper chest allows you to move with the core body, not the shoulders, not the jaw, but the muscles that wrap around your ribs, that draw your heart around to the right. And coming to stillness back in center. Exhale there and step that back foot forward and walk it out and shake it out. Roll out the ankles, bend the knees. What do you need to do to let that side go? And each side is different. So let's see what the other side brings. With your exhale, land in your foundation of your Tadasana. Inhaling, the weight comes over the left leg, and we bend the right knee and come to the toes. Rooting down into that foundation so that the muscles in the left leg start to wrap around the bone, Noticing what you notice as you move deeper into these poses, whatever that means for you. The breath stays smooth. And as we balance on this left leg, we step or slide the right foot back so that the heel comes all the way down to the earth. And then maybe we walk that left foot out to the side a little so we have a wider foundation and we feel safe and supported. Find the breath. Root into that right heel as you activate those quadricep muscles to lift and lengthen that right leg. We lengthen through the back of the right leg and into the calf and root into the heel. And that is our foundation. As we exhale, we settle the hips and bend into that left knee, keeping that right leg active. Soften the jaw. Find the breath. Inhale the arms into goddess or not. Right, the arms don't have to be extended here. Taking a few rounds of breath. Breathing into the heart space, rooting into your foundation, active core. How does that right hip crease feel? What do you notice? Allowing that opening. Softening where you can. With your exhale, the palms float together, the thumbs resting against the upper chest. Soften through the shoulders. Root into your foundation. Inhale, lifting the ribs out of the hips. Exhale, gentle twists to the left. Wherever your body lands, inhale back to center. Knowing that the twist happens with the core body, not the shoulders efforting you, not the jaw. The chin stays in alignment with the tips of the fingers. Stacked spine. Coming into your natural range of motion. Moving in and out of this twist with your breath. And the next time you inhale back to center, find stillness, releasing the hands and stepping that back foot forward and walking it out. And taking some hip circles here. So feet are wide and we rotate on the hips. I'm reversing those circles. Nice. And coming to stillness. And we really have to come back to the floor, but we'll take a balancing pose anyway, tree pose. So everything's familiar. We know where we're going to go. Don't be in a rush to get there. Be aware of the breath in the body and what you feel and the connection to the earth. Allow the weight to shift into the right leg or over the right leg. And the toes of the left come to the floor. Root into that standing leg. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Maybe rotating the left knee out to the side and allowing the heel to rest against the ankle. With the toes on the earth. Maybe your hands are on your hips. Find a softness in the lower back, a lengthening through the entire spine so that you find a lightness, like reaching towards the ceiling with the crown of the head. The shoulders are soft. Breathe here. Maybe this is where you're staying. Maybe you're inhaling the toes off the floor. Maybe you have a piece of furniture to stabilize you or a wall. To just allow the fingertips to come to so that you can find the balance in your tree pose today and challenge that standing leg or not. But the breath is smooth. You're finding the balance of the breath in the body, noticing the self-talk, and then allowing it to just float away. With your next inhale, that knee floats forward. Maybe you like to extend that leg straight out in front of you and balance on that right leg one more time. Bend the knee, float that left foot to the floor, walk it out, let it go. Land in your foundation. Deep breath in, soft breath out. Allow the weight to shift over the left leg, coming onto the toes of the right. Root into that foundation, strengthen that standing leg, lengthen through the crown of the head, opening that right knee out to the side, keeping both hips facing forward, the leg moving in the hip socket. Heel rests against the ankle. Hands maybe rest on the hips. And we're breathing here, open across the heart space. Maybe you experiment with lifting the big toe or all the toes off the earth for a round of breath. Maybe you can press that foot into the standing leg into the foot. Feel the strength of that foundation to lengthen straight up through the crown of the head. Using a wall or a piece of furniture, soften through the shoulders so that you can find the foundation, lengthen up, and breathe easily. Inhale, that right knee comes forward, maybe extends straight out in front of you and floats to the earth. And we shake it out and let it go. And turn to face the top of the mat if you aren't already, whatever top is for you. Inhaling, the arms float out around and up. And exhaling, we swan dive forward. We inhale and lengthen and exhale and hinge. Let the fingertips float to the earth so we can step one knee back and then the other. Let the hips come to one side and we come to sit, extending the legs straight out in front of you. Maybe you need to walk yourself forward onto the top of your mat. Knees are bent. Feet are on the floor. One hand and then the other comes in back of the thighs. Finding the sitting bones, using the hands on the back of the thighs as a foundation, sitting bones and hands. With your inhale, you lengthen straight up to the ceiling as maybe you draw the heart space a little closer to the thighs. Stacking one vertebra on top of the other, soften the chin to the notch in the collarbone. Peaceful back of the neck, soft shoulders, away from the ears. With your next exhale, gather the pit of the belly, open up the elbows so that now you're resting on the top of the sacrum. But the spine is still long, you haven't softened into your lower back. Maybe the palms can open towards the ceiling, maybe not today. Please honor your body. Maybe you're staying right here, just breathing into this core work. Maybe you're ready to carve out the belly and exhale and lower yourself onto your back, coming to your elbows, maybe over to your side, and coming to rest flat on the earth. Sigh the breath out, exhale, release into that support beneath you. Breathe into the space below the collarbone. Even out the breath, make the inhales the same length as the exhales. Easy in, soft out. With your next exhale, draw one knee and then the other in towards your chest. Maybe getting some movement there, rocking side to side. Notice what you notice. Does this feel any different than when you started class? Maybe not. With your exhale, allow the knees to come over the hips and the hands to float to either side of the body and a little bit away, like, almost in between T and next to, right? Soften through the shoulders. Hug the inner thighs together, the knees together. Flex the feet as if you were sitting in a chair here. One of my teachers called it air chair. So the shoulders are resting away from the ears, flat on the back. released onto the earth. There's a natural curve in the lower back. The front ribs hug a little towards the earth. The belly gathers in and up to support this pose, and the breath moves freely into that space below the collarbone. Breath in, breath out. And then extending those arms into T. And one knee and then the other floats over to the right. Doesn't really matter which side. So that the knees move towards being stacked and the hips move in the direction of being stacked. Left hip on top of right, with the shoulders resting on the earth. So maybe you need a prop between the knees because you're not quite there yet. And then soften wherever you are. Use those exhales to let go of all the efforting, finding the ease in this final spinal twist. So that the breath moves easily into that space in back of the heart and the entire length of the body. The ribs on the left side expanding to accept the breath. Maybe it feels good for you to gaze towards the fingertips on the left hand if you haven't already for a total spinal twist. Not efforting, not forcing, just experimenting. And releasing all control of the breath and settling into your natural rhythm. And with your next inhale, gazing up to the ceiling. With your exhale, the belly gathers. So one knee and then the other can come up over the hips again. And then float over one knee and then the other to the other side. Maybe placing a blanket or a pillow between your knees. And if you don't have it right now, next time. But honoring your body, not forcing those knees over, not forcing the hips to stack. More importantly, allowing the shoulder blades to rest flat on the earth, peacefully resting into the earth. So the breath can move into that space below the collarbone. So that you have an opening from fingertip to fingertip. Releasing with the exhales. Letting go of all efforting. Aware of the back body. Is it trying to draw you over to the left? Can you soften a little closer to the earth and release that efforting? Maybe gazing towards the fingertips on the right hand, chin towards right shoulder. Maybe that doesn't feel so good on this side. Backing out of it. With your inhale, you're gazing up to the ceiling, exhaling one knee and then the other comes up to center. Taking any final movement to complete your practice and then covering up, preparing for Shavasana. So maybe you need your socks back on, a blanket, a sweater, whatever it is you need. Maybe you have a pillow nearby you can put in the back of your knees or the back of your head. And we'll rest in this final pose for a few minutes of stillness. Allowing the body to settle into this stillness, choosing stillness. Letting go of all the movements. Moving the body around a little to find a comfortable resting place and then releasing into that space. Notice how the shoulder blades are resting on the earth. If your palms aren't rotated up, rotate the entire arm in its socket so the palms can face up. And notice if the shoulder blades rest differently on the earth. Rest a little flatter. Support the heart a little better. Breathing in, breathing out. Breath moves freely. Maybe with the back of the head resting on the earth, you tuck the chin to the notch in the collarbone, finding a little more length in the back of the neck, and then soften there. The space between the eyes softens. The eyes rest heavy in their sockets. The forehead melts towards the earth. And all the muscles surrounding the eyes soften and release. The jaw softens, allowing the tongue to slip away from the roof of the mouth and the lips to softly meet. And all the muscles in the face soften and release. And the breath moves freely, your natural rhythm. And you watch as it fills the space below the collarbone and then fills the space surrounding you. Aware of the cool breath flowing in and breath warmed by your body leaving. Maybe attaching a color or a mantra to the breath. That helps you to keep the focus. Maybe you get in a round or two or three of breath, and then the thoughts come tugging at you again, and we honor those thoughts. We allow them to gently float away, just for now, bringing the focus back to the breath, allowing the body to rest, bringing it back into balance with the mind and the spirit, with the goal of taking this piece off the mat and into our lives, knowing that's available to us right there in the stillness. Breathing in, breathing out. One breath following the other, with just a gentle pause, a beat between the breaths. Over and over again we practice to bring awareness to the breath, so we can allow that peace to settle in. And I'll be here to guide you out. And slowly becoming aware of the earth beneath you, of the space surrounding you. As you gently deepen your inhales and exhales. And slowly bringing your body back from stillness with small, gentle movements. Softly rubbing your thumb against your fingertips, wiggling your toes. Maybe slowly turning your head from side to side. Maybe rolling through the ankles and the wrists. And with your next inhale, allowing the arms to extend as you reach through the fingertips. And exhale, float the hands to a comfortable position as you bend one knee and then the other to step the feet softly onto the earth. Deep breath in, deep breath out, feeling more awake and alert with every inhale. And just noticing what your practice has given to you today. With awareness of the breath and focus on the breath, we can come back to this place. It's always available to us. Just like we get stuck in our bodies, we can't move deeper into a pose. Our thoughts, our feelings get us stuck sometimes. And we just lean into that. And it's a hard just. Lean into the feelings, aware of the thoughts and how it connects to our bodies. And can we gently move out of that stuckness, that sticky feeling? When is it appropriate? How do we respond and not react? We move from a place of loving kindness. Loving kindness to ourselves so that we can bring it to whoever we share our lives with. Using your arm as a pillow, rolling over to one side or the other. Allowing the breath to fill the back of the heart, to fill the entire back body. Resisting the urge to open your eyes if that suits you. Press into the earth and draw yourself up into a comfortable, easy seat. And with your inhale, the arms float out, around, and up. And with your exhale, the palms float together and rest at the heart center. Allowing the left hand, the left palm of the left hand to rest on the heart and the right hand on top of it. And breathing into the palm of your hand. Aware of the breath, of the beating heart beneath your hands, offering yourself loving kindness. And in this pause, noticing how that feels. And with your palms together, they rest at the heart center, and we inhale and lengthen. We exhale and bow to honor that perfect light that shines in all of us. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you.
Pat,
Yes,
where are you?
I'm in New York.
Okay.
I'm home. I'm going back down when
I don't know when, when things clear up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it's good to see everyone. Thank you very much. I'll
Thank
send
you,
out
Marie.
Thank you.
recording.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for doing this.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
So good to see you, Kathy.
Marie, my granddaughter called like the last 10 minutes, FaceTimed, which she never does. And
Oh.
I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh my God, can everybody see it?
Oh, no, we couldn't. Yeah.
All right, thank God. I was like, if they're on the other side of this and they're all going, shut up.
No, you're all muted. Nobody knows. That's awesome. All right.
All right. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it. And thank you so much, Marie.
You're welcome.
Stay
Bye-bye.
safe.
Bye, Sue. Bye, Pat.
Bye.
Bye.